No Vin Diesel, a brand new character nobody asked for, a sequel that had every reason to fail. Instead, it became the foundation of one of the highest-grossing franchises in cinema history. Today, 15 facts about Too Fast, Too Furious, from a $25 million rejection to a one-take boat jump, to the villain reunion that was written, planned, and then quietly erased from Furious 7. Stick around for the bonus. Once you know what was almost in that post-credits scene, you'll never look at this film the same way again. June 2003. The star of the original was gone. Paul Walker was carrying the film alone. A new character had been invented from scratch to fill the gap. Opening weekend, $52.1 million. Finding Nemo knocked off the top spot, $236 million worldwide against a $76 million budget. The franchise didn't just survive without Diesel. It proved audiences were invested in the world, not just the name above the title. Here's the story behind how that happened. Fact 1. The $25 million Vin Diesel walked away from. Universal offered Diesel $25 million to return in $2003. He read the script, felt it lacked the ambition of the original, and walked. That decision forced a complete restructuring of the film. Brian O'Connor went from sidekick to lead. A replacement character had to be invented. That character was Roman Pierce, and Tyrese Gibson has now appeared in 8 franchise installments. Vin Diesel turned down $25 million and accidentally made the franchise bigger than it would have been if he'd stayed. Fact 2. The casting carousel nobody talks about. The role of Tej Parker went through Ja Rule, offered $500,000, 33 times his original fee, reportedly too big for the sequel to return calls. Then Redman, who dropped out due to scheduling conflicts. Then 50 Cent. Then Andre 3000, who later admitted openly he wasn't ready and wouldn't have hired himself. Finally, Ludacris. Walked in, crushed the audition, got the role. 8 franchise installments later, the part that almost went to 4 different people became one of the series' most permanent presences. Fact 3. The Skyline. Paul Walker never owned. The Pearl White Skyline GTR was the personal car of technical advisor Craig Lieberman, the very first federally legalized R34 in the United States. He bought it in 2001 for $78,000 and suggested it to production when the film got the green light. Universal rented it from him. Despite years of fan mythology, Walker never owned that specific car. For stunts, 4 additional GTRs were flown in from Japan on a cargo plane, because there weren't enough legal examples in the country to work with. Fact 4. The Dodge Neon that almost replaced it. Studio executives pushed hard for Brian O'Connor to drive a Dodge Neon SRT4. Lieberman pushed back harder. The Skyline's entire appeal was its inaccessibility, a car American audiences couldn't easily buy and couldn't stop wanting. A Neon had none of that. Universal listened. The car that defined a generation's relationship with JDM culture almost got replaced by a domestic compact. Sit with that. Fact 5. The actress who had never driven a car. Devon Aoki played Suki with complete conviction. She had no driver's license and no driving experience. The production arranged lessons during filming. This wasn't unusual. Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster had also lacked licenses when cast in the original. Fast and Furious had a quiet pattern. Cast first, teach driving later. Aoki's pink S2000 went on to appear in music videos by Ludacris, Pink, and Lindsay Lohan. A car driven on screen by someone who couldn't legally drive it became a pop culture object that outlasted the film by years. Fact 6. The torture scene based on real military intelligence. The rat under a heated bucket technique was described to the writers by an actual Green Beret. A trapped rat will claw through anything to escape, including human flesh. That is not a screenwriter's invention. Singleton initially struggled with the scene's place in an otherwise colorful film. He kept it for one reason. It established Verone as a genuinely threatening villain at the exact moment the film needed audiences to believe the stakes were real. The American Humane Association monitored every take. The rat was never in danger. The most disturbing scene in the film was both historically grounded and humanely produced. Fact 7. The villain's mansion belonged to Sylvester Stallone. Verone's estate overlooking Biscayne Bay was Stallone's personal property. 14 acres in Coral Gables, built in 1971, sitting alongside the Villa Vizcaya from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. 2 action franchises, 1 address. Fact 8. 2 blockbusters filming in the same park. While Too Fast Too Furious shot on one side of Bill Baggs' Cape Florida State Park, Michael Bay was simultaneously filming Bad Boys 2 on the other side. Same park, same summer. Crews coordinating to avoid each other's shots. Both released in summer 2003. Both became franchise cornerstones. Miami wasn't a location. It was a factory running at full capacity on both ends at once. A studio talked out of ruining their own sequel. A torture technique lifted from classified military history. Sylvester Stallone's house as a villain's lair. We're not even halfway through. Still coming. The stunt that took 3 months to plan and 1 take to execute. The love scene Eva Mendes personally had cut from the film, and the villain reunion from Furious 7 that was written, cast, and then erased, for reasons nobody saw coming. Fact 9. The love scene Eva Mendes had removed. There was originally a scene between Monica and Brian. Mendes requested it be cut. Her reasoning: Monica was already involved with Verone. Adding a scene with Brian felt narratively dishonest. She also mentioned her nieces, young girls who would be watching, and said she was uncomfortable with the message it sent. Singleton agreed immediately. No pushback. The scene was never shot. An actress on a major action franchise advocating for restraint over screen time, on ethical and creative grounds simultaneously, and winning. Fact 10. The recycled cars nobody noticed. The Supra Slapjack drives in the opening race was the exact car Paul Walker drove in the original, retained by production and repurposed with new modifications. Orange Julius's RX-7 had previously doubled for Dominic Toretto's car in the first film. The cars that carried one story were quietly passed to the next. Mechanical continuity beneath the surface, invisible unless you knew where to look. Fact 11. 3 months of planning. 1 take. The boat jump took 3 months to engineer. Custom ramp, calculated launch angle, pulley system, computerized animations. The stunt Camaro was stripped to a shell and filled with foam to float on impact. Singleton expected multiple attempts. The crew nailed it on the first take. 3 months of preparation, 1 attempt, done. Fact 12. The police weapon the audience assumed was real. The ESD harpoon launcher, the 3-pronged device that disables a car's electronics on impact, looked procedurally convincing enough that audiences widely assumed it was actual law enforcement technology. Singleton confirmed in commentary, completely fictional, invented for the film. No such device exists in any police department. The film invented a tool. Reality has spent 2 decades trying to approximate it. Fact 13. The opening weekend nobody predicted. No marquee star, unproven new character, a sequel expected to underperform. $52.1 million opening weekend. Finding Nemo dethroned. $236 million worldwide. Singleton's highest opening film. The 4th highest June opening weekend in Hollywood history at the time. The result proved something the industry hadn't fully accepted. Audiences were invested in the world of these films, not just in one actor's name. That insight became the foundation every subsequent installment was built on. Fact 14. Roman Pierce was built from nothing. Roman didn't exist in early scripts. Universal commissioned 2 parallel screenplays when Diesel's return was uncertain. One with Dominic, one without. When Diesel walked, they went with the second and built Roman from scratch. Gibson got the role through his existing relationship with Singleton, who had directed him in Baby Boy. Early drafts made Brian directly responsible for Roman's arrest, a sharper personal betrayal at the story's center. That detail was cut. The tension remained. A character invented as a placeholder became one of the franchise's most essential figures, built from nothing, in response to a rejection for a film nobody thought would work. Fact 15. The GTA connection hiding in the final act. Players of Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, released 8 months before this film, may have felt an uncanny familiarity watching the closing sequences. The locations used in the final 15 minutes were drawn from the same Miami geography Rockstar games used as reference material for Vice City's map. The causeways, the islands, the bridges, 2 productions independently mapping the same city at the same cultural moment, producing environments that mirrored each other so closely, the overlap couldn't be missed. Neither production knew the other was doing it. The audience that loved one almost certainly loved the other, and they were, without knowing it, moving through the same streets. And now, the bonus I've been saving for last. The original post-credits scene planned for Furious 7 would have assembled 5 franchise villains into a single sequence. Carter Verone, Johnny Tran, Arturo Braga, Zizi, Deckard Shaw, all united by Cypher to hunt down Dominic and Brian. Cole Hauser had been approached about returning. The scene was written. The connective thread linking this film back to the 7th chapter was mapped out. Then Paul Walker died on November 30th, 2013. The scene was rewritten. The villain alliance never assembled. Furious 7 became a farewell to Brian O'Connor and to the man who had played him across 6 films. The post-credits sequence that survived wasn't 5 antagonists preparing for war. It was Paul Walker driving away down a sunlit road. Somewhere in Universal's development files, that original scene still exists. 5 villains, 1 plan, a story thread connecting Too Fast, Too Furious directly to the 7th film. It was never shot, and the reason has nothing to do with the story.